Hey y'all, IrixGuy here. Welcome back to another live show, and got a bunch of cool stuff going on. We got let's see what we got here. Hold on, Yep, pause that. There we go. So we got obviously the Dji Mini 2, which has been a really cool drone. It's very small. It's very lightweight. It can be recharged by way of USB-C, is in Charlie. So that's kind of a cool thing. You don't have to deal with proprietary chargers. You doing it in a boat, doing it in a car, ATV, solar off the grid USB charger. Whatever you're using, you have the luxury of using your USB-C cable, which is super great. Man, GoPro in the Smoky Mountains. I was up there. Check out my videos. I got a ton more coming soon. I'm editing them now. Actually, I've got the new Apple M1, which is a new Apple. Apple's basically stepping away from Intel, so they're going to do their own chips. So I've got the Apple M1 chip coming on a Mac Mini, and I'll be doing a ton of video editing with that. Actually, a lot of the videos that I got from the Smoky Mountains that I haven't edited yet, I'll be doing those with the Mac Mini. So expect, Mac Mini M1 versus Intel Core i9 comparison videos. Ought to be super cool. Got a bunch of people tuning in. Whoa, I got a foreign language here. I got to check this out, see if I can understand this. Maybe Google Translate can help me check this out. So I got a Rose, which, dude, appreciate the respect. I need to translate that. That is awesome, dude. That's what's so cool. We got Colin right here, UK. Hi from Liverpool, United Kingdom. We got the O Show. Good day there. Good day to you too, sir. Thank you for tuning in. Jake says, evening. I've got the whole gang here. Maya, McKenna, Maya, and Katie, and me, of course. There you go, man. You got the quadruple action going there. Always awesome to have you. And you know what I've got over here? Let me get this out. I haven't gotten this out yet. Hold on just a second. Had it tucked away in my corner because I got a very small studio space. Rent here in New York City in the United States of America, it's kind of expensive. So I got my sound of the super chat. So that's the sound of the super chat. Anytime that you choose to super chat, and again, I am an independent YouTube channel, so, not part of the multi-channel network, and don't have any of that good stuff. But if you choose to super chat, I will break out the sound of the super chat, and I will celebrate your super chat. And if we get through $100 US in a single live show, then I will break out the drum. So we got a bunch of cool stuff. One of the coolest things, this has been a very interesting past few weeks. We've had the Dji Mini 2. Jake says, I've got a GoPro. It's really tough and can take a beating big time. Yeah, dude, GoPro cameras are great, and I love GoPro. And I've been using GoPro since GoPro Hero 2, but I did have a defect. Unfortunately, my GoPro Hero 9 Black, which is the current model GoPro, I documented in a video. That's not any sort of trolling. I mean, that's a true experience. When I was out on the Appalachian Trail in the Smoky Mountains, backpacking, did over 100 miles. Just got a few of the videos out now. Tons more videos coming soon from backpacking in the fall in the Smoky Mountains. So check out those videos. They hadn't even been published yet. I'm editing them. But I had so many times. Great to be here. The O Show, it's fantastic to have you here too, sir. Thank you for tuning in. The GoPro Hero 9 failed me, and I'm hoping that I just got a dud camera. For example, there was one hike that I did. It was a short hike, but it was a 45-minute or so hike to a waterfall. Of that 45-minute hike, it only captured 7 minutes, and it failed. So I've notified GoPro. I don't expect that I'm on their. I don't think that I'm on their VIP list, but hopefully they'll at least listen to me because I've been using their product since Hero 2, and I talk very positively about it. And, that kind of irritated me that it failed. But, yeah, some other things, the Xbox Series X. Xbox Series X. The Xbox Series X. Sup, everyone. Hey, sup. Sup, Stingray Aerial Solutions. Sup, everybody. Welcome aboard, dude. Colin UK says, how's the Xbox Series X going? Any games tried yet? We're going to get to that here in a second. Jake says, I think it's Arabic, Irish guy. I know some other languages, including French, Spanish, German, and most European languages and most Middle Eastern languages. Very cool. Yeah, it's good to have that the ability to communicate in multiple languages. And I know a little bit of Mandarin. I know a little bit of Spanish. I don't know French. I don't know German. I need to learn those languages because this world that we live in today, it's super important. I got a little bit of buffering trying to sneak up there, so I'm trying to pause my cloud activity here. Let me pause this. Hope the audio is okay. Pause that. Good. Buffering, you go down. Buffering, go down. Buffering, no. We do not like buffering. Buffering is when you're doing a live stream and you get a little bit of congestion. I'm only live streaming in 1080p 6. Is it 720p 60? No, it's 1080p 60. So, Stingray Aerial Solutions says, you see any bears and smokies? Yes, I did. And we're going to get to the bear stories and the smokies here in a second. I'm going to go ahead and circle back to Colin UK first. Colin says, how's the Xbox Series X going? Any games tried yet? Actually, I tried a few games. I never bought Call of Duty, and admittedly, and this is talking about the Xbox Series X, which if you're not a gamer, you may not really know what it is. I pre-ordered the Xbox Series X because I wanted to, I wanted to get my hands on it. I wanted to review it. And to be frank, because I run so many businesses, and I love running so many businesses. I'm an entrepreneur. I like to have a good time. I like to try to make money, have a good time while making money. It's not all about making money. It's having a good time. But, sometimes you just want to have a good time and just unwind for 20, 30 minutes, pop out something mindless, a video game. Video games are great. I used to play video games as a kid, played them all the time. When you get older, your priorities shift a little bit and, it becomes a little bit more, that would be great to be able to do that. But, time is valuable and, would I better invest my time in this or that? When I looked back at my old stats, and this was many years ago, 10, 15, about probably 10 or 15 years ago, I looked at my stats and I looked at a popular video game that I played, and I'd invested, when it comes to hours, 29 days worth of time in front of a video game, which, it's fun. But, when you look at the, Philippe, welcome aboard. How are you doing? Doing great, man. We're gonna get in a bunch of good stuff here. Thank you for tuning in. So, looking at video games, it's kind of mindless fun, so it doesn't really have a value add. As I've gotten older, I've better enjoyed experiences versus, things that are kind of virtual, like a video game or whatever. Getting out, and we're going to get into the Smoky Mountains, talking about the bears and all that here in a minute. But the Xbox, I felt that I did a good thing with it. So, I did my review. I had a good time with it. Admittedly, I don't have time to play video games because I run so many businesses. I don't have time to do it. But I wanted to get my hands on it because it's the latest tech, and that's not a huge component of my channel, but I still wanted to have it on here. So I got the Xbox. I did the Xbox Series X unboxing. I did the Xbox Series X, how to factory reset it, and I did my initial impressions video. And I felt that I got what I wanted, so I put it up for sale. Admittedly, I wanted to make a small profit off of it because I'm a capitalist. It's all about making money when you can, and not price gouging or anything like that, but making money. So anyway, I met this I put it up to sale, and somebody called me, and they were, 4, 5, 6 hours away, which was incredible. I'm like, dude, you're going to drive that far to get an Xbox Series X. But it was a cool story because, it illustrated how hyped this new product is, this Xbox Series X. I mean, somebody wanted to drive that far to get it. And, when you get a contact like that from an online sales site or whatever, you don't really feel this a credible person. But long story short, they said, oh, we'll be there in 4 hours. And sure enough, that individual was there. They showed up. It was this individual and this individual's girlfriend. They were probably, I don't know. I mean, I'm not good guess of age. They were between 16 and 20 years old, probably on the lower end. But they were ecstatic about being able to get their hands on an Xbox. And these things are going, these Xbox Series X's are going for a premium on popular auction sites right now. I mean, a premium, above $1,000 easily. And I had it priced way below that. Actually, I had it priced at $750 US, which is still over retail. No, I had it. Yeah, it was $750, and so they actually showed up. I met them today, and they showed up. They, I had the Xbox. And I said, yeah, it's been used. I've unboxed it, this, that, and the other. Pulled it out. They inspected it. And, after they inspected it, they hand me all the, all their money, and it was $750. And I'm like, whoa, that's pretty cool. And, and then I took the $750, and then I handed $60 back. And I said, hey, man, I said, take this $60. I said, you and your girlfriend, I said, y'all go have a great, have a fantastic dinner, and then go play the Xbox. And I don't care if they had the dinner or not. That doesn't matter. They may have spent that $60 and bought, Call of Duty or whatever. But it's a principle. I mean, we're in this society today where, you really can't trust people. You can't depend upon people. But the fact that these people, especially these younger people, came, drove 4 hours. It was a 4-hour journey just for the sole purpose of picking up, a video game console. That kind of blew my mind. And, everybody's young. Everybody, you got to hustle. I'm a hustler. I'm 40 plus years old. I'm a hustler. I'm always going to be a hustler. But to see the younger demographic that, was hustling, they're selling pizzas. Start somewhere. You got to start your career at an early age. But to see, selling the pizzas, see the hustle, see the desire to get the latest tech, in this case, the Xbox, and to drive that far, with their significant other, to drive that far and to actually, not just drive that far, but assume the risk. I mean, this could have been an online seller. There was a flake. It didn't show up. I mean, in this case, this online seller was me, which, of course, I'm going to show up. So I showed up. They were there in a timely fashion. They wanted the Xbox, and it was just, it was cool. And this world today is all jacked up. I mean, this world is going straight to hell. There's no doubt about it. But the thing is, there are good people, to be able to see the hustle and to be able to acknowledge the hustle and be like, look, you've got a passion. You want to play video games. You're of that demographic. You can do that. You still got a job. You're able to afford your hobby, which is the Xbox. And I was just like, dude, go out and get a freaking good dinner for you and your girlfriend. That was just freaking awesome. It was cool. It felt good to let go of the Xbox and put it in the hands of somebody that, you can meet people, and you meet people in this world, and you meet people, it's like, they're going to become a very successful person in the near future. And this was a prime example of that. So, Stingray Aerial Solutions says, did you see any bears in the Smokies? I saw a ton of bears. Actually, the couple nights that I slept out in the Smokies, backpacking with a bunch of buddies, and did over 100 miles. Over 100 miles that week I was there. But one of the nights at 3 a.m., in Stingray Aerial Solutions at 3 a.m., this was a dramatic wake-up call. So my buddy's tent is probably 15 feet the other way, but it's closer to the stream. My tent is 15 feet further from his, and it's away from the stream. And right beside mine, I've got all that leafy stuff. The leafy stuff, I don't know the name of the plant, but it's a plant that the black bears in Appalachia tend to want to nestle up in, and this, that, and the other. So 3 a.m. beside my tent, I hear well, it's not that loud, but it's a stomp, a very pronounced stomp. It's not a scurrying around like a deer or a raccoon or, something small like a mouse. It's a pronounced foot down, and then you hear another pronounced foot down. It woke me up. I got my air horn, and I got my bear spray. You can't, spray bear spray in a tent, but if the bear rips your tent open and there's no tent, you can use bear spray. And of course, I had a handgun as a tertiary form of defense. But fortunately, to respond to your question, did I encounter any bears in Smoky Mountains? Yes, and that was just one example. That was 3 a.m. in the campsite. Obviously, we had utilized the bear pulley system. We had properly hoisted all of our gear, and what I'm saying, is we probably hoisted more than we needed to. But all that I had in my tent and all that my buddy had in his tent was, a bottle of water, and that was the only scented. And I mean, there shouldn't be any scent to bottled water, but had that inside the tent. And of course, I had my self-defense items. He had bear spray in his tent. I had bear spray. I had an air horn. And I had a 357 SIG pistol, so I was pretty well armed, prepared. Obviously never want to hurt an animal, never want to be confronted, but if it did become a life or death situation, you want to make sure that you've got all the tools that you may need to better enable yourself to escape without injury. So it was really cool. When the bear just kind of sniffed around and walked away, because obviously we had hung all of our smelly stuff in the bear pulley system many yards away, so it could have gone the other way, but it didn't, and there was no bear attack. Curiously enough, that was one campsite, and that was the campsite where we didn't pass any other campsites on the way. But the previous night, where I camped at another site, Fly Right Drones, welcome aboard, man. Where we camped the previous night, there was a campsite on the way that had a sign that said closed due to aggressive bear activity. So I mean, it's not a joke. It's not like they put up those signs for entertainment purposes. I mean, those signs are put up for for serious reasons. I mean, you could get attacked by a bear. I mean, that's that's a legitimate possibility. So things you just accompanied by huffing probably. There you go. Let's see. We're gonna scroll through some comments here. Jake says, "I'm a traveler just like you, Irish guy. So learn the world languages and even some native tribe languages, including First Nations and Native American. Those are languages I'd love to pick up." Jake says, "French is what I learned, as it's Canada's first language." Nate Sarag says, "I'm selling Mavic 2 and getting Mavic 2 Mini just makes sense." When you do sell that, please go to epicdroneshow.com and then click Buy a Drone, and you can buy your Mavic Mini there and all the accessories too. Let's see. Colin says, "Many of the games are backward compatible. Will you try any?" Yeah, a lot of them are actually. And when I played my Xbox Series X for a few days, again, I sold it, but I played Battlefield 4, which I had from many years ago, 6+ years ago. Very cool. Actually, the graphics look great. I don't know if they were better than they were when I had my Xbox One, but they looked really good. Grand Theft Auto 5, drastic graphical improvement. Again, I hadn't played it in 6+ years, but I downloaded that. I didn't purchase any new games. I didn't purchase any of the optimized for for Xbox Series X games. Because, again, I sold it because, running all of these companies, I don't have time to play video games. I wanted to get my paws on the new console because I love technology, and I love to to talk about it. I mean, that's part of the journey is a story, man. I mean, if you've got if you can tell a story, and you can tell a story from experience, that's a big part of the journey. And I regret that I sold it so quickly, but I know that I made not only the dude but the dude's girlfriend like super ecstatic. I mean, those people. That couple's probably sitting at home tonight. Hopefully they had a good dinner, and if they didn't, hopefully they went out and spent that money and bought Call of Duty or something like that, and they have good times together. But they were ecstatic to get that Xbox, and for me, it's like, my IrixGuy's Adventure channel. I wanted to get it because I wanted to review the latest tech, and I filmed a few videos. But I mean, wow! I mean, they were ecstatic. I mean, that made. I'm not gonna say that made their day. That could have made their week. That could have made their month. Hopefully it didn't make their year, but they were super happy, and it felt good to put that Xbox Series X in the hands of a couple that really will have fun with it. Jake says, also know how to write in British English, Irish, and Welsh, and Scottish. Not great with their accents, though, but I've got a great New York City accent. Hey, guys, how you doing? Forget about it. I'm from the Bronx. Yo, man. Y'all guys. Jake says, and Arabic was hard for me, too. Philippe says, what about PlayStation 5 just for the controller? Dude, PlayStation 5, I've been trying to get my paws on that because, number one, I want to review it. And number two, the PlayStation 5 is a hot item. I would say it's more hot than the Xbox right now. And it's I have hustled. I have tried to find the PlayStation 5, and I have failed to find the PlayStation 5. So if anybody out there finds the PlayStation 5, you're probably sitting on a pot of gold. What I do like about the PlayStation 5 is I think the batteries in the controller by default are probably rechargeable, so that's nice. And Philippe says, I'm thinking about getting one. Dude, if you get it, that's awesome. If you can find it, that is freaking cool. And Colin says, Luciana from Rio de Janeiro wants to say hi, who is here with me in Liverpool. So you got Rio de Janeiro, and hi, Luciano from Rio de Janeiro. That's Brazil in South America. That's very cool. That's a place I'd like to go. I've never been to South America. I go all over the Caribbean. Been Captain Irish guy. I'm out there and I'm selling my ships and my small vessels. But yeah, I always want to go to Rio de Janeiro. Jake says, today on the 401, there was a major crash. It resulted in a violent explosion from a butane tanker. Whoa. That sounds dirty, man. I hope everybody was okay because that sounds bad. Willman KY. Hey, man. Got my first drone, DJI Mini 2. Willman KY, congratulations and welcome to the club. And if you haven't already checked it out on my website, check out all the accessories for the DJI Mini 2. That's the landing pad, the extra batteries, and all that. Just go to epicdroneshow.com and then click buy a drone. Let's see. And then we got Stingray says, Fly Right Drones, hello. Jake says, you don't want to play GTA against me. I'm very aggressive in a good way, though. And Fly Right Jones says, hey, Stingray. Yeah, Grand Theft Auto is an interesting experience. It definitely is. I love the open world sandbox feel of Grand Theft Auto. Admittedly, in the past, before I became a businessman, I was addicted to a game. It was called EverQuest. And I would encourage no one, and actually today it's probably a thing of the past, but in the past, EverQuest was it was kind of the top of the line, massively multiplayer online role-playing game. I mean, it was ahead of World of Warcraft. It was kind of the big thing. And that game was such a time sink. And, it was fun. But here's the thing. You get, once you develop an understanding of time, and how finite time actually is, once you develop that understanding, and then you realize that, hey, what are my personal objectives? Everybody's objectives may be different. For me, I remember when I was little, Jake says, how about Cuba? Been to Cuba? Never been, and I want to go. I've been very close many times. Puerto Rico, St. Thomas. I've been in that geographical region, but I've never, set foot on Cuba. But, yeah, it's an interesting thing. How does one allocate their time? And, one may assume that, a few minutes here, a few minutes, potentially a few hours there is not that much, but everything adds up. So if you do play video games, what I encourage you to do is, even if the system itself is not logging your time, log your time. And Infused Adventures, welcome aboard. Welcome aboard, sir. Log your time and then look back at that time spent and ask yourself, how could I have better utilized that time? Not saying a video game is a bad thing. It's a great way to relax. And relaxation, whether it's a few minutes or a few hours of a day, is probably important for a lot of people. You got to keep yourself in a very mentally clear and mentally positive state of mind. With that being said, Luciana. Sorry, Luciana. I was thinking about like some mafia stuff like Luciano. It's Luciana. Okay, Luciana from Brazil. It's good to have you here on the IrixGuy's Adventure Channel. Philippe says, I have been in Cuba 3 times and Rio de Janeiro once. An amazing city, and Cuba is an amazing country. Jake says, no injuries in the butane explosion, but it damaged the highway Mcallen and took out a light pole. That sounds pretty nasty. Yep, and Colin, I've got that. It's Luciana. I'm not going to mess that up again, man. I'm not going to mess that up. Luciana for women and Luciano for men. Now, I have been at Sparks Steakhouse in New York City in Manhattan, and I've got a video of that. Check it out on my YouTube channel, Sparks Steakhouse. So I went to Sparks Steakhouse, and that's where Paul Castellano was whacked by John Gotti's Mafia people. And dude, is a good steak. We sat in that steakhouse, and I reserved it months in advance. I said, I want to sit, where the Mafia people sit. And when you sit in that table, you could see all the entrances. So it's like, when you were sitting there, you were prepared for somebody to come in and potentially come in and attack you or whatever. It was pretty cool. Jake says, love going to Cuba to vehicle spot. So many different vehicles from many countries, from 1920s to the latest models, some dating from the Soviet Union times. Yeah, it is a communist country. It's a communist island. Infused Adventure says, just got the new Call of Duty game. Very cool, man. Yeah, it looks cool, dude. I would love to be a part of that, because I'd like to see that Battlefield was always my thing, man. I started out with Wolfenstein 3D on the shareware CDs. So I'm an old dude, man. But yeah, I played the Battlefield series religiously. Starting out with Battlefield 1942 that was on the PC only. It's funny how gaming now has kind of shifted from, more from PC to console. It's a cool thing. Far Right Jones says, I used to play video games. I have an Xbox One used primarily to watch videos on, although the new Drone Racing League intrigued me. Yeah, man. Stingray says, I have to ask beverage of the night. Oh, ha ha ha. I'm celebrating great success tonight with the beverage of the night in Stingray. Cheers, governor. This beverage is actually it's very, very good, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it. It's got a great nose on it. I put a lot of water in it. I put a lot of ice cubes that then melted and turned into water. This is a Highland Scotch whiskey. It's a single malt, and it is called the Mcallen. And actually, it's funny, Stingray, it's funny you asked that because I've got a review video that I filmed. This is like my second drink from the Mcallen, but I did a video review of the Mcallen because it's a, here's the thing. There's people that like wine. There's people that like craft beer. I kind of like a little bit of everything. I mean, I like craft beer. Thing is, with craft beer, it's so freaking fattening. Doesn't matter how much. Well, I guess if you work out a lot, you can counteract the fattening, thing that you get from craft beer. But wine, I've never been a fan of. I mean, I like wine. I admire good wine. You're doing a steak, you're doing chicken, you're doing fish. It's easy to pair, a certain type of wine with a certain type of dish. But, one thing I've really grown to love is not just bourbon and not whiskey, but Scotch. And Scotch is, what's so cool about it is that it has such a history. And I mean, bourbon does too, don't get me wrong. And I mean, I've got some great Kentucky bourbons. Pappy Van Winkle probably been among the top of the list. And, it's one of those I'm not going to say it's overly hyped. It is an exceptional bourbon, but it's still overly hyped. The Mcallen that I have right here, from the Highlands in Scotland is, it's a very proper Scotch. It's got you get the very pronounced fruits. You get that. Of course, there's a very oak forward in your nose and also in your mouth, the oak. They say there's a vanilla. Cheers to you. Cheers. They say there's a vanilla, subtle vanilla to it, but it's probably because I added ice cubes and water that I don't have the, the vanilla detection. But again, I'm, being a Captain Irix guy, being on all the boats and ships, I primarily drink rum when I'm not the captain. And, rum has a highly pronounced vanilla smell, vanilla nose, and vanilla taste. So, for me to be able to detect that in the Mcallen, this is this is super good. It really is. Jake says, as what happened on the 401 crash today on the 401 nor Cornwall and Ontario, Canada. Cornwall. And Jake says, oh, got yourself a Scotty drink there tonight, Irish guy. Yeah, it is a Scottish drink, man. But, I mean, you can smell and you can taste the many, not years, but many centuries of expertise that went into this. I think that the Mcallen has been making it since, I think it's 1832. You know, you get a formulation correct, and you can repeat it. You get a formulation correct that people love, and you tweak it. You continue to make it better. I mean, I think, you know, I don't know. I don't consider myself to be a Scotch guru. I don't consider myself to be a whiskey guru or a bourbon guru. But what I get out of this is a premium. This is a premium beverage, and it is it's a Scotch. It's the Mcallen. But it is good. I mean, you don't get. I mean, I don't know. I mean, when you get interested in good wine, when you get interested in good food, when you get interested in good bourbon, good whiskey, here's the thing. In the past, I'd pick up a thing of Boone's Farm. Boone's Farm or Mad Dog 2020. I'd pick that up and, go out with friends, have a good time. That was a long time ago. But when you get older and you start to understand that better food exists, better drinks exist, then you start to say, okay, well, if I'm going to have something, it's going to be something, good, or I'm just not going to have anything. What are you going to do? You're driving down the street. Are you going to go in a gas station and eat dinner? Probably not. Unless you're super hungry and you've been, I don't know what's happened, but for the most part, you're probably going to turn down that opportunity. When you get older, you're going to want, you don't want just a meal. You want the dining experience. You want the service. You want the after dinner mint and the folded towel or folded napkin. Not the folded towel. I don't know why you need a towel, but you see what I'm saying. You become more sophisticated, and as you become more sophisticated, it's just, I don't know, but the Mcallen is good. If you're of age and you do enjoy a good drink, the Mcallen is a fine example of something that's exceptional. It's not your off-the-shelf natural light. I love Natty Light. Don't get me wrong. I would never swing a golf club without a Natty Light in my hand. That's just how I am. But when I want something that is good and is better than good, the Mcallen is, it's exceptional, man. Jake says, I prefer margaritas or coolers, not too strong, as some drinks are, but anything but beer will do for me. I love beer, man. Don't get me wrong. I love beer. I got fat there for a while. I'm still not ripped back up because I got this COVID stuff. I think that COVID is a crock. I don't get political, but anyway, it'll be good when we can go back to the gym and breathe fresh air wherever we want to go. Because that's my big thing right now. I'm not going to the gym. I'm doing a home gym. And the home gym is not the same as getting out to the gym and having to work out with all these people that are more fit than you, and you feel like you got to compete. You don't want to be the low man on the totem pole. So, I mean, that's just how it is. I mean, that is life. That is reality that we know. So, man, the super chats haven't come in tonight. Where are the super chats? Fire Right Jones says, I prefer Rolling Rock. I've drank many Rolling Rocks. I've drank many Heinekens. I've drank many Natty Lights. Sweetwater 420 is an awesome beer out of Atlanta, Georgia. Yeah, I just stopped drinking beer because it just made me more fat, man. And like I can drink scotch and water and just be a boss, Still got to work out though, and that's the thing. I mean, everything's important. Jake says, even though I'm not a big drinker, can't with my seizure disorder, or I was born that I was born with. Yeah, that is a bummer, man. But honestly, I mean, it could be a blessing in disguise because you don't drink as much. Far Right Jones says, life is short. Enjoy the time you have, however you want to spend it. Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. That's why I sold my Xbox, because Xbox Series X is cool, man. I plugged it in. I'm like, this is cool. I'm running around a city. I'm in Grand Theft Auto and doing whatever I want to do in a sandbox. And that's cool. But that's not how I want to spend life. The way I want to spend life, number one, is going everywhere in the world. Going out, interacting with these other cultures. Just being this dude with his stupid accent and going out and eating their food and swimming in their beaches and talking to everybody and just having a good time. I mean, that's, some of the best things. And, this is just to date, here being 2020, some of the best memories I have are just the random, don't know where I am. I'm out in the middle of nowhere. People don't even necessarily speak my language. I've been to a lot of islands that speak French. I don't speak French. I mean, but most of the French people spoke English. So, but, just going out in St. Bart's and all of that and just going out and having a good time. And, you'd be amazed at the people that, that you'll meet and just the interactions. I mean, part of life is important, and at least important to me and memorable, is just the journey, doing things that others may not necessarily do. I mean, I know so many people, and they're great people, but so many people that I know that they just spend a ton of money, going out to eat. They spend a ton of money on, small things here and there. But if they didn't spend all of those, seemingly insignificant amounts, and they saved it up, and they could go, on an adventure, somewhere unknown, and interact with, people from different, cultures, different countries. I mean, it's, part of the biggest thrill is just putting yourself in a situation where you don't know what's going on, and you put yourself in that situation, and you interact with others. You learn, cultural things, and it's it's easy for one to live one's life in a, let's just say, in a cage of sorts. You grow up, and it's like, this is what I'm going to do, and this is where I'm going to go, and this is what I'm going to eat. And, there's no opportunity for experimentation. Whereas when you go, when you travel to other countries, meet people from different cultures, you become more well-rounded. You get exposed to food items that you may have never had. One of my favorite food items now is actually conch. Conch shells, the things that you blow on. That's a big Caribbean thing. And they cook that in so many different ways. And you would never know that unless you had been in these countries where the people, they grew up, that was their thing. They cooked it, they perfected it, and they do it in a way that's so perfect that when you have it, it's a delicacy. For someone on the outside world, it's a delicacy. And to them, it's just, part of their culture. But, and I'm sure they still enjoy it. Stingray says Mcallen 20 plus is super pricey. You got a code for that. I wish I had a code, man. My only code is this. You live life once. Go out and enjoy life. And have an adventure. That's what Irish Guy's Adventure Channel is all about. Fire Jones says, how many languages do you speak, Irish Guy? Well, obviously I speak English, but I speak hick English because I got my redneck accent. So that's my primary language. And then I do Spanish. I do a little bit of Mandarin. I do a little bit of German, not so much. French, not much at all. Primarily Spanish, English, and a little bit of Mandarin. Richard R. Richard, welcome aboard, man. Welcome aboard, sir. Good to have you back. Good to have you back. Jake says, well, it's time this dude to hit the hay. See you next stream if that's tomorrow, I'm guessing. Very cool. Hopefully I'll do tomorrow. I may not do tomorrow because I got an adventure tomorrow, but I will be posting a lot of videos from tomorrow's adventure. So, Jake, always good to have you. Maya McKenna, and Maya McKenna. I'm hitting a blank. Jake, you got to help me. Maya McKenna and Katie. Maya McKenna, Katie. MMK. Maya McKenna, Katie. There you go. See, I'd be a poor salesman because I can't remember all the names. Hate that. But have a good night, Jake. Good to have you. Yeah, so, one of those things I recommend, and I strongly recommend it. And, the toughest thing for me, and I know we've all been through our hardships and this, that, and the other with this, whether it's real, whether it's half real, fake, whatever, the pandemic, whatever we're experiencing, the reality is, whatever your opinions are, it has deeply impacted tourism. It has deeply impacted travel. Typically during a year, I would be in the Caribbean. I have not been in the Caribbean this year. And I know that sounds whiny to say I haven't been in the Caribbean, but the reality is I have not been in the Caribbean. And that's because of all this, this COVID crap, this pandemic, whatever. And it's just because I don't want to go and spend money to go somewhere where most things are going to be closed down or I got to wear a freaking mask. I don't want to do that. So, that's why I did the backcountry, why I did the Smoky Mountains, and I've got a ton of videos coming soon. I haven't even edited a touch of those yet. I've got the Apple M1, which is new Apple chipset coming for a video editing computer. So I'm going to be editing a lot on that. Friday Jones says, Lifestyles with Irish Guy. That's a good show idea. Very cool, man. Biggest thing is this, man. I mean, the thing is, I mean, again, everybody can find adventure how they want to find adventure, but if you just, here's the biggest thing. I like the beach. I like the islands. I like good food. So, a lot of times, I just toss myself wherever and not know where I'm going, just go and, get something cheap, some cheap place to stay and spend the money on food and travel in that area. And, spend the most rewarding things. And that's been the toughest thing this year with the pandemic is not being able to go out and do that because even if I did go somewhere, things wouldn't be open and I'm not going to spend, money for travel expense, airfare and ferries and that sort of stuff. I'm not going to spend that money if I'm going somewhere it's going to be a diluted experience. But, yeah, I mean that's my strongest recommendation for everyone, especially after this COVID clears. Philippe says, I know you have the GoPro 9. Are you planning to review the Insta 360 1R X2 as well? Actually, I am, because I was in the Smoky Mountains with Michael Kincaid. Check out Michael Kincaid's YouTube channel, in the Smoky Mountains with him. He didn't have that one because it wasn't out, but he had the R2. It was an incredible camera. The things you can do with that, the drone-like footage, grossly trumped the GoPro. Stingray says, good night, been fun. Stingray, thank you for tuning in, sir. Thank you so much, man. Deeply appreciated. Yeah, Philippe, I got you. Yeah, I plan on picking that up. Actually, my GoPro, truth be told, because of the experience I had with my GoPro Hero 9 Black in the Smoky Mountains, and granted, when it got good footage, it was great, but because of its unreliability and its multiple failures, it put a very, not just a bad taste in my mouth. I've never had a GoPro, and I've been using GoPro since GoPro Hero 2. I've never had a GoPro that's been unreliable like the GoPro Hero 9 Black was. Maybe I got a dud. I was using the most current firmware, and I hope that GoPro can resolve it. But, with that being said, I definitely think I'm picking up, the Insta 360 R2, the new one that came out, not the modular, but the new one. And Fuse says, think I should move up to i9 processor versus i7 I have now for video editing. Honestly, dude, check out the Mac Mini, and mine's going to be here probably in a week or two. The Mac Mini with the M1. That's the new Apple processor. It's not Intel. It's got the new Apple processor, has the GPU and the CPU and something they called all these other terms I forget. But it's all integrated into one chip. And again, I haven't tested it yet. Stay tuned for my videos. Just for reference, I'm using the MacBook Pro i9 with 32 gigs of memory and a 1 terabyte SSD. That's what I'm using right now. So I'm going to be doing a side-by-side comparison with that versus the Mac Mini, which is a fraction of the cost. The Mac Mini with the M1. So I would definitely encourage you to stay tuned, not just my channel, but check out other channels to see how well or how poorly that new M1 processor performs, because I have a feeling that new M1 is going to be a boss as far as performance is concerned. So, yeah, man. Flyrite Jones says, I have the Osmo Action. I got it the wrong time. Haven't been able to go anywhere. Yeah, I know, man. That sucks. You get you an action camera, and then things don't work out. This pandemic, man, we got to put this pandemic to a close. We got to say pandemic in, close the pandemic, end the pandemic. We got to do that. So on that note, everyone, I appreciate everyone tuning in here. It's been fun. I gotta eat some cheeseburgers or something. I don't know. I gotta get something, man. I'm hungry. Eat me something. Eat something here. There's got to be something good to eat. What would be good to eat? Something has got to be good to eat. Something has got to be good to eat. Yeah, it's one of those things, man. You just get hungry and you wanna eat something, So appreciate everyone tuning in. We're gonna do another live show very soon. Got my studio, man. I'll have to give y'all an updated tour of the studio. I got this thing. It's a fancy. It's not just like a cable cover on the floor, but it's like a fancy cable cover on the floor that looks attractive for the studio. And now I don't trip over my cables when I walk around. And I've got the cable for my audio. I've got the cable for my screen share. I've got the cable for my USB mode. if I wasn't broadcasting directly from the Dji Mini Pro. So it's really cool. And, on that note, I appreciate everyone tuning in. Y'all be safe, be responsible drone pilots, be your own drone evangelist. Go out and preach safe and responsible drone use. And stay tuned for the next show. And be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, youtube.com/IrixGuy. See y'all later. Hey y'all, IrixGuy here. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to subscribe, like, and share. It's viewers like you that enable my channel to continue to grow. Thank you.